Happy Frostpunk Friday, my friends. Today I'm going to walk you through the very first part of the story in Frostpunk 2, the Prologue. And there's a lot of different difficulty settings you can choose from, just like in Frostpunk 1. I'm just going to do Citizen, because every time I try to do Captain, I die. Fail miserably. If you're crazy, you can click on Survivor mode, and you can turn the pop-up tutorials on and off as you please. Once you click Start, you are locked in. There's no going back. And I'm going to speed past the visually stunning introduction and just go right ahead. Feel free to read if you want to read, but we must survive. We shall survive. We shall triumph. We shall also speed past some more stunning graphics. And here we go. Fight the cold. Obviously, we're going to restart the furnace. Feel free to read if you wish. And this is what happens if you forget to turn off the pop-up tutorials. So first things first, frost breaking. And I want to frost break to these two sources of oil. And while I'm at it, these prefabs over here. And the main goal of the prologue is to get a bunch of food, so better frost break to food. I'm gonna do that one to get us started, but there's a better source of food. A more long-term source of food, shall we say. Alright, now that those areas are clear, we're going to build an extraction zone. Please note, especially if you're my brother, you can't do more than one resource in an extraction zone. So if you're doing oil, you can only put it on oil. It will only let you do one resource per zone. So more frost breaking. Get some housing down. And the other source of food that I really want to get to is down inside this valley here. Look, oil. So once we have oil going, we click on the dreadnought end. I didn't mean to do a close-up. There we go. Furnace on. It's magical. Yes, now we need houses and food. It's best to build housing districts near heat sources or in sheltered locations. So by the dreadnought, by the generator, in a valley. Just be careful if you're building in a valley, because sometimes those can add to your squalor levels. Here is our food district. I really need to get to this other food location as soon as possible. The speed controls are your friends. That right there is the main food area I want to get. it's more sustainable. Yes, we must be ready. So pay attention to your workforce, especially in this early stage, because you want to make sure you have enough people to do the other stuff that you need to do. And by that I mean we're going to try and frost break all the resources as soon as possible. That way we don't have to stop and wait for frost breaking later in the game. And if we do this right, we shouldn't have to use the tightening belts or emergency shifts. Oh, and also, helpful tip, holding down the Alt key is how you can display resources. It's very handy. Eventually, we're going to want these materials and the other prefabs. But while I still have people available, I'm going to frost break to all the places that I need to go. Ah, look, seals. When I first started playing Frostpunk 2, I was constantly running out of prefabs, so they're important. They're almost as important as heat stamps. Heat stamps are basically your money, and then prefabs are your building materials. Alright, I think we got everything broken out. Looks like it. So now we'll get some materials going. And we will definitely want a food storage hub, stockpile hub. If you put those near the corresponding district, it'll give you a productivity boost. Once you get to this mysterious symbol, you have to make a choice that you're going to be stuck with for the rest of the game. Order or faith, or you can just say, I have no idea. If you choose order, you could end up with the stalwarts or the pilgrims. So the stalwarts are interested in reason, merit, and progress, and the pilgrims are interested in tradition, equality, and adaptation. If you choose faith, then you can end up with the evolvers and the faith keepers. And the evolvers are interested in reason, merit, and adaptation, and the faith keepers are interested in tradition, equality, and progress. And if you choose, I don't know what that means, it'll randomize the results. The story has two communities that you can't play in Utopia mode: the Frostlanders and the New Londoners. Factions can spin off of main communities, so Frostlanders can spin out pilgrims or evolvers since they're all really into adaptation, whereas the New Londoners can spin out into the stalwarts or faith keepers because they're all devoted to progress. I can really get lost in the weeds of Frostpunk lore here. So for our purposes today, just know that there isn't a right or wrong choice. The decision, or lack thereof, depends on your playstyle and what you're trying to accomplish. Generally speaking, the faith versus order direction depends on if you want to focus on productivity or hope. So if you want to better shot at high resource output or greater control over your frostpunks, then maybe pick order. If you want lower tension and a more compassionate society, sort of, maybe go with faith. Just know that each faction has its own agenda, which makes Frostpunk 2 even more political than Frostpunk 1, creating Frostpunks who are even more entitled in this second stage of the post-apocalyptic world than they were in the first, which is something I didn't think was possible. But as usual, I digress. So, we're 31 weeks out from the whiteout, and we're actually pretty close to getting food stores ready. But pay attention, because that district just ran out of resources, which means I can demolish it and create a new extraction district and get some more materials. And we're doing okay, so we don't need to resort to extremes. We have enough food. In fact, we have almost too much food. So we will need another food stockpile hub. Pay attention to those bars at the top. They show you if you've got a surplus or you're missing key resources. We'll just plop another one down. We don't have enough heat, but there's nothing we can do about it. Just watching this one food district run out of food. Oh, it's here. The whiteout is upon us. We survived. And that's the end of the prologue. So I'm going to wrap it up for today. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful and if you want me to keep going. And have a good Friday.